Let's deepen our analysis. It's joined by Peter Zalmayev, Director and Founder of the Eurasia Democracy Initiative. Peter, as always, it's a pleasure to have you with us on France 24. We're discussing this. I think it is good news from Paris, though there are certain riders on that, because clearly, whilst it is a major announcement to be getting 100 Rafale jets, this isn't going to happen overnight.
It's not going to happen overnight, but I think it serves the dual purpose of both, allowing President Macron to say that, look, I mean, I've been saying all along that Ukraine needs to step up and support Europe. I've actually promised it to Donald Trump. I'm doing it, and not only doing it as a part of my promise to Donald Trump, but I'm actually helping Europe-grown, French-grown, industry. I mean, he did mention that, it would not be very fair, to be using European taxpayers' money, French taxpayers' money, to pay for American weaponry. So this is a way to assert very muscularly France's position when it comes to the Ukrainian question. And for President Zelensky, of course, even if these Rafales will not be coming anytime soon, and it'll be, obviously this will take some time. Something that we just discussed with you, Mark, the other day. He is, buried pretty, pretty deep in this scandal that is showing no signs of abating. There are now conjectures that it may actually spread much wider and deeper and involve other government officials. There are even rumors now swirling that the former Minister of Defense, Mr. Umerov, is hiding outside of Ukraine and is not, planning to return. So this is obviously something that Zelensky needs to try to deflect attention from the scandal. He's visiting, as you know, Madrid after Paris, and compared to his last visit to Washington, when he came away empty-handed with no tomahawks, this is very clearly a successful visit.
Before we continue with defence, let's go back to the corruption scandal you were talking about there, Pete. I mean, clearly, the fact that Ukraine is being open and honest about this, or appears to be in terms of the reporting, has to be a good sign, because there are many countries where this would just be swept under the carpet. It's very important that Ukraine is open and Zelensky is open about this.
This is indeed the silver lining, and this is the distinguishing major factor from what's happening in Russia. I mean, to be quite frank, these corruption scandals actually pop up in Russia as well, and there are these show trials and dressing downs on TV by Vladimir Putin. But those are probably selective, and there are many more that we are not aware of. And those, of course, who are still part of Vladimir Putin's orbit, we can conjecture, may be mired so deeply in corruption we just won't know, because they're still loyal. This shows that even those who are loyal to Zelensky and who were his associates, such as this the main figurant in this, the main player in this saga, Mr. Mindich, who is now fled and is apparently hiding in Israel, was a close associate of Zelensky, was actually essentially owner of the studio, company, the TV company where Zelensky, played, including played president before he became president. But at the same time, we're seeing how that, justice may be coming for them as well. I mean, this is something, to be quite frank and to be fair to the Ukrainian president, Zelensky can point to and say, look, this is just another example that, yes, while there are still issues of corruption, there's a decisive, break with the past, in that we do not show favorites. We are actually following the well-known example of the late president of Singapore, Lee Kuan Yew. We mete out justice irrespective, regardless of who these people are.
So in this context, Peter, sorry to cut across you, Peter, in this context, it's even more important that this deal, this statement of intent, has been signed with France by President Zelensky and Macron. It's even more important as a show of intent and good behaviour and the right way to go for the rest of Europe perhaps to follow, maybe even for the United States to reassess its position.
Well, yes, indeed. And of course, what we're seeing in Washington, this for now is giving ammunition to those detractors of Ukraine on the Hill and around the Hill and in the House and outside the House, MAGA coalition of Donald Trump. But those people, sort of like on the other side of the Atlantic, Mr. Orban and his Foreign Minister Peter Sijarto, they were never thrilled with the idea of continuing to support Ukraine to start with. They did not really need this to continue down the same path. At the same time, we're seeing how other voices are reasserting themselves and actually trying, to more than, hold their own in this debate, including President Macron, who actually quite snidely and quite kind of cleverly alluded to, promises of resolving this conflict within 24 hours and how it's really hard to keep those promises. This is a clever way, and it's not the first time he's doing it. And Alexander Stubb, the president of Finland, just made a very, strong and timely statement that despite the disheartening things happening in Ukraine when it comes to corruption, we have to not only continue supporting Ukraine, but we need to step up our support. And we're seeing how this divide is, broadening, widening between the Europe of Prime Minister Orban, who's been, of course, emboldened with the re-election of Donald Trump, his ally, and folks like Macron and Stubb, who are saying that Ukraine is our first line of defense against a very revanchist and dangerous Russia.
Peter Zalmayev of the Eurasia Democracy Initiative. As always, sir, thank you for joining us. Stay safe out there,
Peter.
Mark. Very pleasure to have you as always, Peter, joining us from Kyiv. Thank you, sir, very much indeed. We take a short break. After that, it's Eye on Africa. Stay with us for that.